my father's preaching, never ever allow evil to prevail, because greater is he that is in you. Jesus Christ, who is in you, is greater than the devil that uses the people. I enjoyed the bicycle of my father. It was Avon. I had read the word Avon, but because my father appreciated everything God gave him, his bicycle, instead of calling it Avon, what it was, he called it a Humber. He had struggled to take us to school. He used to ride each one of us, and he raised the 5 of us, struggling with funds. He didn't have money, but he has love. He had love, unmatched love. I am appealing to fathers, young and old, that please be in the lives of your children. Don't send money and remain back. My biological father showed us how we work with integrity, hard work, not just work, hard work, and then the works of your hands will be blessed. We have been blessed to win international awards. But His Excellency President Museveni picked on me, a girl from Rentanga, who was ridden on a bicycle, went through third world schools. I'll mention that with pride, that I went to rent. I was lucky at some stage. My father was lifted from the Muhurizi, and was, because he had a gift of innovation. When I am serving, I serve because my father, my biological father, my treasured, cherished father, Omuhurizi Tata Eliasaf Serada, led by example and was very intentional in being in our lives every day. Young people out there, everything you do, do it for the good of others and let people know what is good. When I started work and earning some little money as a soldier, I lifted my father from a bicycle to a motorcycle. My father was a thankful man at every stage. My gospel, which I'm preaching to all of you who will listen to me, wherever you are,
be thankful.
Be thankful. Young sons of Uganda, young fathers, older fathers, be in the lives of your children. Presence of a father in a home creates more security. Dear brothers out there, uncles and fathers, please be in the lives of your children. Be intentional. Ensure that you are available as an example in everything you do. Children who are well fathered cannot be corrupt.
Greetings. Today we're honored to have Colonel Edith Nakalema. Yes, sorry about that.
But thank you for starting with my husband's name, because it's always left out. I've complained many times, so you are a special journalist.
Thank you.
Started with a name that I treasure. He's the man in my life.
And another person in your life is your late father.
Yes.
That's what the book you've written about.
That man, the late Reverend Eliasaf Serada, who is well known in Ankole and Central Uganda, where he was ordained the Reverend, he is known to be called Omuhurizi Tata, Reverend Eliasaf Serada. And that is a bit of controversial when you say Omuhurizi Reverend. It is, the word Muhurizi stands for evangelism. But in the Church of Uganda liturgy or hierarchy, Omuhurizi is a lay reader, the lowest rank in the Church of Uganda. So he stayed as at his lower rank of a Muhurizi for 53 years, serving God happily, raising us, his children, with joy, and we are yet to talk about that. So I am a daughter of a very cherished father. In our language and many languages here, we call fathers Tata. Omuhurizi Tata, Reverend Eliasaf Serada, made me who I am, a man of great love, a man of great passion, a man of great service to everyone that crossed his path. And here I am to talk about the book I have written to fathers, and its title is clear, My Father and I, because I learned from my father the power of intentional fatherhood. It is a subject I want us to talk about today, Phil.
Okay, Afandi, you're known to be a tough lady, illustrious. You're tough. You're not. As they say, you're not a simple person.
I am
And
not simple.
in this book, you come across as somebody else. You come across as somebody who's more vulnerable, somebody who's more engaging, and your father had a big influence on your life. First of all, we must note that he was a lay preacher who actually rose to becoming a reverend.
Yes.
I think that's the first, right, in Uganda?
Actually, I have not yet known, and I've heard it from His Grace, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugaru, who's the ninth Archbishop of the province of the Church of Uganda. But I also heard it from the ninth Archbishop of the province of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Henry Lukorombi, that they had never had a lay reader ordained a reverend in his retirement. My father was ordained a reverend when he was already 73 years old, and he was joyfully raised and priested from being ordained a deacon. That those are that's the lead the lineup they do in Church of Uganda. So from Mbuzi, he was graciously picked on by Bishop Michael Ruboa of Central Buganda Diocese on the recommendation of a retired Reverend Tukamuhawa, who we met, me and my father, and I'm yet to talk about that my father accompanied me even when I'm 50. Now today, I am already 52 years. I'll be 52 on the 1st of August this year. So, but my father remained a father, and to us, we remained children to him up the time he left this planet Earth. So he had accompanied me even when I have my own old children. They are in universities, my own children, my husband. So many times my father would accompany me, whether it was a joyful moment for weddings, he would be there to praise the Lord with me. When it was an unfortunate incident of death or burial, he would
Yes.
accompany me. This time, he had accompanied me at a burial of a young man who passed on suddenly in Nyabushozi. And when he gave his testimony about serving God passionately for 53 years at the lowest rank in the Church of Uganda as a Mubolzi, and he was joyful and told people that even when we lose our treasures, like losing a child, we should know that there is a God who will never change. Sometimes children leave us when we put in every energy, but God remains the same to stabilize us and maybe to give us what can be a replacement. Of course, a child is hard to replace, but that's when the retired Reverend Tukamuhawa looked at my father, walked to me when my father was still talking, because my father interfered in my speech. I was the one speaking. But because we were friends, whenever my father was at a function where I was, when I start giving my own testimony, he would not hesitate to join me to start from where I had reached, to tell them how the power about God, because he was always very grateful that him and Muburu's at that lowest rank, he raised the five of us struggling with funds. He didn't have money, but he has love. He had love, unmatched love, but also unshakable faith in God, and raised us in love and always assured us that surely with God nothing is impossible. So the Reverend Kamhawa had the testimony and walked to us and said, in Buganda here, the reverends are called Abakade because of experience. So he said, I will accompany your father, Edith Nakalema, take him to Bishop Michael Boa in central Buganda. Remember, my father being Seroda, his roots, his parents, grandparents, because his parents were chiefs in Ankole,
Yeah.
in particular Chera, in Rwampara, now Rwampara district. That's where my great grandfathers were, but they originate from Rengo Masaka. Again, in the book, there is a chapter talking about the four generations. Me, I am fourth to the Kamswaga of Coach, from the lineage, from the Kamswaga of Coach, the lineage,
Yes.
and it is clear. So to me, when the bishop, when Reverend Kamhawa said that my father would be ordained a reverend, looking at him at 73, joyful, and his name had turned into Omuburzi Serada, we called him Omuburzi Tata. I laughed. I said, really? Who would ordain a 73-year Jore Muburzi? Does he even need to be a reverend? How long will he serve as a reverend? And where? I didn't want my father, meanwhile, to move from parishes to parishes. I wanted him to sit and enjoy the goodness of the Lord, because he had struggled to take us to school. He used to ride each one of us on his bicycle, but me, as a firstborn, he's the firstborn. I enjoyed the bicycle of my father. It was Avon. I had read the word Avon, but because my father appreciated everything God gave him, his bicycle, instead of calling it Avon, what it was, he called it a Humber. So my brothers and other siblings knew that our father's bicycle is a Humber. And at some stage, I was also convinced that maybe what I read was just something that was written on the bicycle. Maybe it is a Humber. But later on, as we grew, and actually when he passed on suddenly,
Yes.
we Googled to know what Humber meant. We found out that actually Humber was a vehicle, a car that was very expensive, what you would call, God forbid, a Rolls Royce,
Oh.
not of the one that is being talked about, but a Humber was a car that the Queen of England ever used. So to my father, his bicycle meant the world for him. So in this book, I write about the beautiful old bicycle where our father took me to school, which bicycle carried so many children from the village, including a honorable member, Honorable Nathan Itungo, because he wrote in this book. He did his master's, but my father took him on his bicycle, singing, Jesus alone is sufficient, Jesus is enough. In Runyankore, ndio Kristayo, yagumizamu ebiro byonna mpicha hakufa. So my father's bicycle was not just transport to us, it was also a video. We would go singing for us. We would enjoy the ride. I too mostly enjoyed the ride. So your question was this: how did he rise to become a reverend? He was ordained a reverend in his retirement years at 73, because he chose to serve God. And when Reverend Kamhawa took him to Bishop Ruboa quickly recommended him to go to theological college, to do classes in theology. Reaching there, and Bishop Ruboa, who is my friend, had not known that that was my father. I chose not to tell him. I didn't want anyone to claim that my father's reverendship or being ordained was out of my influence or anything. No, I told Reverend Kamhawa, all I am going to do is to buy fuel for my father's car. Take him as you. Don't mention that you have taken Kanona Karima's father to Bishop Ruboa. So, and he honored that, because Bishop Ruboa would have called me to say, hey, Kanona Karimono Tata. Bishop Ruboa came to know it when we went for ordination. He was extremely surprised. My father, when he went to class of theology, he became their teacher instead. So the principal of the theological college where my father was here in Masaka, I forget the name, they quickly went back to the bishop and said, the Muburis you gave us, you sent to our class, he is now our teacher. He is more knowledgeable about the Bible and theology than all of us. So my father was ordained in only 3 months of his entering the class of theology. He was ordained a reverend at Central Uganda Diocese, Kasaka, on the 28th of May, 2023. And it was joy. And that's when we all gathered, the family and friends, the hundreds, many accompanied us, the Aaron Kajinas and their husband, General David Moss, friends in my life. We all went to celebrate our Muburi's Tata becoming a reverend in a retirement. I would stop at that on that chapter, on that small part.
Okay, Afandi. But he was also a fabricator.
Yes.
And it's incredible. Take not only you to school, being a metal fabricator, which doesn't pay much, being a lay reader, which also doesn't pay. He managed to take 5 of you to school,
Yes.
He also managed to take a
Many
number of others.
others,
How
yes.
many other children did he take to school?
Since I could not count all of them, because many kept coming, especially when he passed on peacefully but suddenly, so many people came to tell us our father took them to school. So I have a chapter in my book, this My
Yes.
Father and I, the Power of Intentional Fatherhood.
Yes.
My chapter, one of the chapters is a man without money who gave hundreds of scholarships, because I found out by myself after my father passed on suddenly that he took so many children to school, yet I am sure he was without money. We have five of his children. I am the firstborn. He took all of us to school. We are all university graduates, including an engineer, because you said, yes, like you read it in my book.
Yeah.
He was a metal fabricator because he wanted to to earn school fees. With babuls, they are not paid money. Actually, the babuls, the lay readers in Church of Uganda, you are only given a tenth of what you will have collected on a Sunday. I don't know if it's a tenth or some small percentage of what you collect on a Sunday service, or maybe also in a quarter. So sometimes in our villages, and you have all seen, those of you who go to church, and especially in village churches where we were, our village, our church was Rwentanga, Church of Uganda. The whole church can correct like 3,000 those days, or even 1,000. So my father was a very, very creative person. I would call him an innovator in the current language, because he knew how to do metalworks using very, very local. I wouldn't even call them machines. I actually knew their names, and I don't know the modern names. He had his magaro. He did his own workshop in our small house. He put some wooden, very strong wood that used to be like his bench of working. He tied on his many. And my young brother, who is now a civil engineer himself, he worked with him, and he's forced to me, Engineer Daniel Taiba, who has helped us oversee and build the big church that our father wanted. Actually, I was telling my brother Daniel that the only thing, why he became a civil engineer, yet our father was a metal fabricator. God wanted Daniel to build the church, the big church that our father wanted, which you'll see later. It's a very big one. And it is Daniel, together with his best man and friend, who they studied together right from secondary, and finished their engineering from Chambogo University, Engineer Davis Agaba. So my father fabricated metals, worked on the beds of the secondary schools where we were studying, because he could not raise fees from the salary of a lay reader. So our father would ride us, me in particular, first, because I was the firstborn. He would go singing. Nobundijira bazigo, Yesu enkanamara, ndiabasingurira chimwe, Yesu enkanamara. That Jesus alone is enough. Even when you have enemies, you will overcome all of them, because Jesus is enough. And I would go enjoying the ride on a hill. I didn't know that for him, he didn't want me to walk. I would think that he was enjoying. I would now tighten my hands in his waist, and he would be there singing while pushing the bicycle. Him, he's walking, and even the suitcase. And I'm telling this story to the young people out there, to really appreciate what you have. That me, I was ridden on an old but smart. My father was smart, because to him, being a born again revivalist, cleanliness was next to godliness. So his bicycle, he would go with some sponge, cleaning it and oiling it. So you would think that it was always indeed it was always glittering, yet it was old. I know it, but it was glittering. It was smart. So he would drop me to school with my suitcase, which he himself made. He didn't only go to school, our schools to work on beds or wiring the beds such that they compute our school fees from his works.
Yeah.
The editor of my book,
Who is the editor?
Joachim Buembo. Joachim Buembo, a veteran journalist, but now a board chairman of Uganda Printing Corporation. He was joking as he read my book. He said that, but your father was overexploited by those schools. He would wire all the beds for just two of us. That time I was the one in the secondary school and my follower, Jennifer Nakayondo. By the time he got the third, our third, our third, my third follower, when she came on board, he had now elevated from wiring the beds. He was now doing iron sheet gutters for this. So those ones would be few. He would come and make them at home, iron sheet gutters, and ride them on the same bicycle. So my father's bicycle was a studio. He would go singing, but it was also a delivery van for all his works.
Yeah.
It was also the bicycle was also a van for many, because he would drop many as he has taken us to school, his wife wherever he wants to go, his neighbor who is sick is the one to be available to ride them. He was always riding his bicycle happily. So that's how he was a metal fabricator, because he earned our school fees from his own hands, and he taught us that hard work pays. Actually, there was a saying that hard work rewards. He would sing, hard work rewards, patience keeps love, tolerance keeps life, and spirit we work. One spirit we work. So that hard work rewards.
Yes.
Patience keeps life going. Tolerance keeps love. One spirit. If you work with one spirit, you achieve a lot. And he was always saying, children, my children, work. And he was our example. He lived by example. He showed us how to work. So he taught us how to be hardworking, but enjoying our work, knowing that God will always bless the works of your hands, the works of our hands, and we have seen it. So through our father's metalworks, fabricating, working on the beds of every school we went to, putting gutters wherever they were needed, whether at school, whether at churches. He took all of us to school. God is good. He showed him the beauty, or he allowed him to enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Yes.
He took us to school on that old bicycle. He has gone to heaven, having seen us all graduate from universities, including me, who was also lucky at some stage to be sponsored by the president to do my master's at King's College London. So that one he preached for a very long time about King's College London, one of the top universities in the world. I did that when I was at the United Kingdom Defense Academy in Shivenham, and he has seen all of us who get married in church. For me, what was always distinct is that he himself held my arm, walked me on, you call it aisle.
Yeah,
Samson,
aisle.
What is it called when you're
The
walking
aisle.
in church? Aisle.
Yes.
So my father, on the 21st of February 2004,
Yes.
he walked me on the aisle?
Down the aisle.
Down there.
Down.
He took me in because I walked down with my husband. So maybe it was up. He walked me up and handed my arm. This is what was special. My father, who was still a Muburuzi, walking his firstborn, and he always called me my daughter, my friend. Omushiki wanje, munywani wanje. So he walked me, holding my arm, enjoying the army band, because we did regimental wedding. That is the army wedding. That's how it's called. That was on the 24th of February 2004, 22 years ago. And I was wedded by his grace the Archbishop, the 7th Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, and we were the first couple that Archbishop Henry Rukorombi wedded immediately after his enthronement as Archbishop. What made my father very happy, which I had not thought about that time, is that Emia Muwurzi could hold his daughter's hand and hand it over to the Archbishop of the province of the whole of Church of Uganda. So when I saw him enjoying my wedding, dancing more, but I was asking, what is making my father happy? Me, I had some tension in me.
Yeah.
I was on tension. Then later he explained, me, I'm Muwurzi, who took you to school on my old bicycle. Now here I am in the All Saints Nakasero, in the city of Kampala, the capital city of Uganda.
Yes.
You know, my father made everything look so big, like it was never there. So he was now explaining how Nakasero All Saints is in the capital city of Uganda. And the daughter was wedded by the whole Archbishop of the province of the Church of Uganda.
Yes.
And on top of that, his daughter was the first couple the Archbishop wedded after his enthronement as Archbishop. And the most respected Archbishop to today, not that others are not, but Dr. Henry Rukorombi has remained a very distinguished
Yes. Absolutely.
Archbishop. His stature of how he looks, how he appears. So it is amazing that God lifts people from their low status when they trust Him more. And it is a gospel I want to preach to young people, to the youth out there who are lucky to grow up in a season. You will work with kings and queens. You will dine with kings and queens. And I would be there asking myself, oh, which queen, or which king, or when, and where will I pass? And he would bless and leave. Yes. And before I leave that part,
Yeah.
because our father and my mother didn't have that money for visiting days to go and buy the bread, the what, he would come on visiting days. He would bring home food, home fruits.
Yes.
He would bring hot home food, cooked from home, fresh, but also fresh fruits, the pineapple, the pawpaw. And he would come with his knife and containers. He would ensure he doesn't want to litter at school. So he would cut for us the pineapple, the pawpaw, and we eat with others. People would definitely want to eat home food. I know that on visiting days, parents take home food, but of course for them they add, the rich parents add the KFC, add the Cafe Javas, add the bread. As it was home food, fresh home fruits, served by our own father at school.
Yeah.
Himself he cuts. You really feel good. He blesses, and after he gathers all the covers, I would call them, what you have cut, the barks of the pineapple and all the that he would put back in Kavera, tie on his bicycle, bless us, and go back home to litter from home, not to fill the dustbins at school.
So
Another discipline.
Afande, you would say your father's intentional fatherhood,
Yes.
was what led to your intentional leadership and servanthood. Would you say that?
I say that with a lot of pride.
Yes.
That for me, when I am serving God, when I'm serving my country, I give every credit. All credit goes to His Excellency President Museveni, who gave me a platform in his office, first of all. For President Museveni to have picked on a child from Rwentanga, and actually, His Excellency President Museveni many times would tease me. Nakalema care of Rwentanga, you come. It's because I didn't have address. The name he had was Rwentanga. Rwentanga, Google is the only one that he's trying to help now. You do not know it. You people who are in cities, who have been born in homes and of big Rwentanga, until you are born there, or maybe if your grandfather came from there, it was not known. But His Excellency President Museveni picked on me, a girl from Rwentanga, who was ridden on a bicycle, went to through third world schools. I'll mention that with pride, that I went to rent. I was lucky at some stage. My father was lifted from the Muhurizi, and was, because he had a gift of innovation, I should call. So he was heading a biogas project. They started a biogas project at East Ankole Diocese then, which is the current Ankole Diocese. So my father was heading a biogas project at East Ankole Diocese then, under the late Bishop Amos Betungura, and the project was headed by the late uh, Canon Fenehans Butukine. And so when he was taken, those are our early days of school. So I was lucky to do my primary 2 up to primary 6 at Mbarara Junior School. Then, unfortunately, the project ended because it was a project. It ended after when I had just finished my primary school. So I went back to Rentanga. It's where I sat my PLE, the primary living examinations. I sat at Rentanga. I remember as a child, I cried. Of course, with my siblings were at Mbarara Mixed School. I was the only one lucky to be in Mbarara Junior School, where our uniform was maroon skirts, white blouses, and Rentanga. The uniform was ginger purple with a sash or a belt that would use cassava to starch and make sure it is firm. So as a child, I missed my Mbarara Junior School level of smartness, level, of course, also level of convenience. Each pupil or student at Mbarara Junior had we had our own desks and chairs. You'd sit on your chair, on your desk, you have your drawer, you lock it. At Rentanga, it was would I call it what? Yeah, yes, these long forms. You are
Yes,
sitting many. You have no privacy to keep your things. You must carry everything on your back. Otherwise, they will be stolen by those that are not brought up well. So it is. It is really. I felt bad that I missed that opportunity of sitting my PLE at Mbarara Junior School, where life was more comfortable. But from Rentanga to Rutoma Secondary School, then elevated to Chibura Girls School, then to Uganda College of Commerce Kabare. Then we graduated at MUBS, Makerere Business School. Later on, I did my degree in logistics and procurement management at Nkumba University. Then the president picks me when I was heading finance. My journey all was in the former Presidential Protection Unit, is where I started. After again, we were recruited by the president to work with SRPS, Special Revenue Protection Services. You
Yes.
remember that?
Yeah.
And then later, as the first internal auditor of the Presidential Protection Unit, later finance officer, Presidential Guard Brigade. And by the time His Excellency the President picked on me to take me to his office,
Yes.
to give me an opportunity, which I appreciate so much. In the book, I call His Excellency President Museveni in my book my second father. I call Mama Janet my second mother, because they gave me a platform, sent me to highly advanced schools, the UK Defence Academy, the King's College London, and later on the National Defence of Uganda, which is for strategy and policy. Now, if my story of enjoying intentional fatherhood can change even one heart of one father,
Yeah.
my purpose will have been complete. So you young fathers, learn how to be with you in the lives of your children. Provide the little you can. Work hard. These children will be blessed. They will be blessed because you will have lived with them by show of example.
Yes.
As you work, they will follow what you do. As you bless them, they will feel indeed secure. They will develop a heart of contentment. I am appealing to fathers, young and old. that please be in the lives of your children. Don't send money and remain back. Presence makes more impact than provision. General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, my second father, I proudly call him, and Mama Janet Kataham Museveni, my second mother, I proudly call her. In this book, they are many times mentioned as my second father, my second mother, respectively. They have endorsed the book. Mama Janet endorsed this book. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni wrote the foreword of the book because they have shaped my public life. Yeah. Who I am, when I am serving, I serve because my father, my biological father, my treasured, cherished father, Omuburu's Tata Eliasaf Serada, led by example and was very intentional in being in our lives every day. When he passed on suddenly on the 8th of February 2025.
We're here with Fande Edith Nakalema, and she has written a book, My Father and I, The Power of Intentional Fatherhood. And
maybe allow me interject, because we have, me and you, we have forgotten. Tell the world and those that are watching us that this book, My Father and I, The Power of Intentional Fatherhood, cannot go out until His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and Mama Janet Kataham Museveni, who are both my parents, have not yet launched it. So the book is not yet launched. We are waiting for His Excellency, the President, who forwarded the book, Mama Janet Kataham Museveni, who gave the endorsement of the book. They are busy, and they have told me not to send this book out until they officially launch it. So we are waiting for the official launch date, which we shall announce once His Excellency the President gives us the day in his busy schedule. So what is on the board is what you can start from there.
Speaking about the President and the First Lady.
Yes.
The First Lady endorsed the book.
Yes.
And the President wrote the foreword.
Yes.
That is rare. To have one or the other, and you have both. So there's a relationship, a connection that you have with the President and the First Lady. And how did that come about? Was that a product of your father's humility, which transpired into your own humility? Or was it just, you just became friends, like the way we did?
There is no footing I can ever become a friend of the President and Mama Janet. I instead, by God's grace, special grace upon me, I want to believe without a doubt that my father's blessings, his example of hard work and unshakable trust in God, that God lifts people from grass to grace, from dust to greater heights. Those prayers, but also living an example of hard work, trusting that God will bless the works of our hands and lift us to sit and dine with kings and queens. On the 22nd of December 2013, I got the most treasured phone call that changed my entire lifestyle. I was a director of finance, again, under our pioneer commander of Special Forces Command, then Brigadier Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who was our commander, and he called me that evening of the 22nd December 2013 and told me that His Excellency the President had asked him to send me to him for an assignment. The call was, while it was good and maybe elevating, it gave me a sleepless night. I didn't know what I was to be tasked with by His Excellency the President, who I had never come across. You will see one of the photos, and please Joshua, get that photo close. In 2001, when I was still a second lieutenant, I had just been commissioned from Gaddafi College. I was the ADC In other words, I was in charge of the security. I was behind the mother that His Excellency President Museveni treasures, Mama Maria Nyerere. So I was the ADC of Mama Maria Nyerere, who His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni takes as his own mother because of what Mwalimu Nyerere did to Uganda, and he has said it even on his last swearing in. So I went, it was my first time to enter State House in 2001. First, look at this photo, how I looked. And now the president offered me a hand, and I feared. Instead I put my hand back. I didn't want to risk to shake the president's hand. You see, that's how I was like, it can't be me shaking the hand of the president. So I lost. I call this the lost opportunity of shaking the hand. Little did I know that God was actually preparing for me a special time when the president would now sit with me in his office and tell me, Nakalema, you are in charge of my private office. And that was on 22nd December 2013. So 22nd December 2013, General Moses Kainerugaba, the current CDF, sent me to the president. I have a short chapter in the book, The Commander Who Paved My Way to State House, and that is General Moses Kainerugaba. It is in the book. I reached State House. I didn't know how they greet the president. I had always been in my army, in charge of finance, internal auditor first, finance officer, and later director of finance. For 13 years in my army career, I was only in charge of funds, and I achieved a lot. It is in the book because of trust that I was taught by my father. Yes. Working with integrity, trusting in God, working hard, and ensuring that you remain faithful with the little so that God gives you more. So I don't believe in touching something that is not mine at all. I can never divert anything that I'm not given. So I ended up in the private office of the president. And when I stood before him, I saluted many times. I can't even count the number of times I saluted, looking for a title to call him. I remember saying, Afande, Muzei, Your Excellency, the President, General. So until he calmed me down, said, Nakalema, calm down, my young officer. Let's focus on this. And because of my name, he believed that I only spoke Luganda. He didn't know that my Nakalema name is a name that I indeed is from my lineage. My father, Eliasaph Serada, his father was Elisa Bakwana Mugaga, but Mwambas, who was also another prophet. He would prophesy to me, Nakalema, mwana wange, muzukuru wange asooka, I am the first muzukuru of Elisa Bakwana Mugaga. So he would say, mwana wange nze nkulaba, olituula n'abambeja n'abalangira, erinnya Nakalema liri kutwala emengo obulange. So that time I would ask, what is in Burange? That mengo, what is there? Little did I know that again, one time I would find myself in Burange Mengo. Yes. At the invitation of Mama Nabagereka, who also honored us. When our father passed on, she personally came home to pay a condolence. So I ended up working for the president, who I feared to shake hands. 2001, so 13 years later, the Lord took me straight to work for him. And so when you asked me that there is a special relationship, it is not a special relationship between me and the president. It is a child-father relationship that I got by God's grace, but also by hard work and faithfulness. Because I was always in charge of funds, and the president and in his unit, Presidential Protection Unit, PPU, Presidential Guard Brigade, Finance Officer, Special Forces Command, the first Director of Finance. Yes. He never heard that I diverted anything. So when he called me to work for him, I am grateful that His Excellency told me, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni told me, Nakalema, you have not come to work in my office as an accountant. I know you studied some accounts, of course, little accounts. That's the bachelor's in procurement and logistics. Man said, you are going to use your degree of salvation to ensure that my office is not crowded, is not under the corrupt or the thieves, for that matter. he empowered me. 2013, the president himself, he told me, be in charge of my private office using your degree of salvation. I am forever grateful to God that since the 2013, when His Excellency the President met me and empowered me to be in charge of his private office, since then, he trusts that I can fight the corrupt at whatever level. So I worked there for 13 years in finance. In his office, I was there for 4 years, from 2013 to 2017, when he graciously sent me to the strategic course at the United Kingdom Defense Academy, and later did my postgraduate advanced defense studies, King's College London. When I returned, he himself again took me to Kororo in the public where the country was watching on TVs. Next Media, I am grateful that wherever I have stepped in my work, Next Media has always been there. Dr. Kin Karisa, my brother, my friend, the CEO, I am grateful with all your team. They covered that event. We worked together. It was the first International Anti-Corruption Day, which was extended from 9th of December to 10th. So on 10th of December, 2018, His Excellency the President put me on his podium at Kororo Independence Grounds and held my arm, announced to the country that this Nakalema, and he promoted me when I came back from the Defense Academy. I was a major when I went to the UK. So when I came back, His Excellency President Museveni promoted me to a Lieutenant Colonel and announced to the country that this, he referred me to me as 1 inch, that this 1 inch, daughter of mine, will fight the corrupt. That was after he announced my mobile number to the whole country. That's the trust that I can never betray. His Excellency the President did not take me on just to work for him because I was highly qualifying. No, he trusted the level of integrity that my father put me in, from the lowest, God riding on the bicycle saying Jesus is enough, he will take you to levels. Here this was 2012. The president gave me a medal, the Independence Medal. I remember while in Nakasongora, this Independence Medal again. There I agreed with the handshake because we were many. I feared him always. But now, and he asked me my name. I said Nakalema. So I didn't know that the next year, this was 2012, 2013, he took me on in his office. And you must have heard that even if he has repeatedly said my name, Nakalema, whenever there is something that is disturbing the country in line of corruption. So he appointed me in 2018.
Now, Afande, I want to ask you about corruption. Not the topic. Don't worry about that.
I can never want to talk about corruption. I condemn corruption because I would never be corrupt.
I want to know how a person like you, because you were raised to be humble, yes, gentle, joyful, and you like to sing. I can sing. I can't sing myself, but I want to sing with you.
To sing.
Now, I
another
want to
day
know.
You should call me here to sing for you.
Afande, I want to know how is it that person was able to transit into almost like a fighter? Yeah, like it's like you're a boxer or something, you know? Well, how did you get there?
How I got there is because, again, of the nurturing I received from my father. My father was a very humble man, very humble, very disciplined, soft-spoken, but full of love and humor. But for me, but in his sermons every day, he told us, in Urinyankore, I will try to put it in English. There are 3 things I can never do because they stuck in my mind right from the time I was a child, when I learned to talk. Otariba, otarita, otarishambana. Never steal, never kill, never commit adultery or fornicate. Now, those 3 sins I can never commit because to me, they were like the worst. I mean, they're not like they are the worst because that was my nurturing. So when I am fighting the thieves, I put all every energy because from childhood, I was told never to steal me myself, and never to allow theft, never to allow anything that disturbs the human being. So because now me, I have some combativeness, my mother is not as soft as is not for her, she's alive. My mother is a real Munyankore from Ankore. So they are bit, they were Nyankore because they are my mothers and my maternal uncles. They are a bit sometimes arrogant, sometimes straightforward, but also sometimes too hard to accept what they don't believe in. So I fight when I'm fighting corruption, I cannot sing. I will ensure that the corrupt face it, and now I'm always ready to join the fight against corruption at whatever cost, because the Bible tells us to fight the devil, to fight the flesh, to fight sin. Kurwana nechibi no mubiri na stand. Fight the devil, fight the sin, fight the flesh. So I am always ready. So when the president gave me the chance to head the State House Anti-Corruption Unit after he announced me himself and after himself establishing a good anti-corruption office with a good system, with a good call center, where he gave me a chance to recruit the young people, the youth who would manage calls that were coming in day and night. The young people really who are fresh and able to handle the calls, but they would work in shifts. I recruited the youth from all regions. I want to talk about this with some more emphasis. That there is a saying out there that you find an office with one tribe. I can tell you without any fear of doubt, because I did it and it is still there. At Anti-Corruption Unit, we recruited from every region because we wanted people to complain in the language that they are comfortable in. So I recruited some Luo boys and girls, from those who could speak Luo. Now this is my chamrabe. Here it is humility. I just came from these chairs of State House to sit down and listen to the old woman, my father's way of attending to everyone in level.
Wow.
This one, you have diverted us, because I was talking about how I combat corruption. You brought in chamrabe. Chamrabe, we are down here. Here it's humility. I was listening. Of course, this chamrabe, it is also a fight against corruption. This 93-year-old chamrabe Mariam, I remember her name. She was thrown out of her house by her own daughters who sold her land. And so it was my officers who I sent, who picked her from under the tree where it was raining on her. We were the ones that bought for her clothes. She was supposed to have died there. And we brought her to office, and we ensured that the daughters were arrested. They brought the man some Muhammad man, I don't remember the second name, and we ensured that she was returned to her land. And that's how I combat corruption. That's whatever this is. 97, she rested in peace, I think 2 years ago. But she passed on where she wanted to be. Now, I was talking about how you asked me from a person who was brought up singing on her father's bicycle, brought up at the Diocese of Ankole, where it is only Kutendereza, and I love it. And when you find me in church, Kutendereza, you will not think that I can turn and hit when it comes to evil. So, but the president also recruited us to ensure that we fight professionally, but also we don't give sin, in particular thieves. We don't massage them. We must ensure that they face the law. We must ensure that the police arrests everyone corrupt. So me, I got that combativeness, maybe from the genes of my mother from Ankole, where they are not as soft, but also my father's preaching, never ever allow evil to prevail, because greater is he that is in you. Jesus Christ, who is in you, is greater than the devil that uses the people to derail, to steal, to kill, to destroy. So I am always quoting 1 John chapter 4, verse 4. Greater is he that is in me. Even when you see me combative, inside me I'm saying, greater is he that is in me. But also, I always remember I was deployed by His Excellency the President, I have a God Almighty in me. Who else will fight me and win?
That's a good
When
question.
surely you are what you know, the God who took you up to the president. The president trusts that you are the one to do it. He empowers you, gives you security, gives you the police to investigate, gives you the lawyers to ensure that you don't go beyond the law.
Yeah.
How can you fail? So that's how I've been winning. After my 3 years, you see, my journey has been three years with the president. At State House, 3.5 years, go study in the UK. Come back, fight the corrupt for 3 years. We achieved a lot. There's a summary of our achievement at anti-corruption unit. I don't know whether Joshua has it.
Yes.
But we recovered over 30 billion shillings that was returned in the coffers of government, consolidated fund. Over 400 civil servants were arraigned before courts of law. Over 70 were convicted, never to work for government in 3 years. Then I was sent to National Defense College of Uganda, which teaches strategy and policy. And while there, I was supported. And when I returned, the president again empowered me to head the State House Investors Protection Unit. I'm always a pioneer, even in that Investors Protection Unit pioneered, right where I am now. And we already have innovated, working with on the guidance of the president, working with the NITAU, National Information Technology Authority. We have an electronic investors protection portal that has brought in investments of worth over $30 million in the last 2 years. We continue to achieve because we work, because greater is He that is in us, and the president is in support. He's always guiding, he's always trusting. I can never betray trust.
2 questions. The first question, $30 million. Can I get a loan?
This was at
possible.
the launch of, no, I don't.
But I'm joking.
Yes, but I agree that, remember, we don't
Yes.
give that money. The money
Yes.
is in worth investments in Uganda. Your children
Yes.
and grandchildren will get jobs. Or most of them are already getting.
Yes.
So that is how we are all benefiting.
$30 million.
In these, yes, in factories that are being, the investors come through in particular FDIs, the foreign direct investments are increasing. You have seen us at the Investors Protection Unit hosting ambassadors. We already won a special award by the president of Africa Association of Public Administration and Management, EPAM, and that was 2024 November.
Yes.
The Investors Protection Unit has already overcome. Bring the others, because we are now diverting from demand. But this is the work that we do. Yes. Because my biological father showed us how we work with integrity, hard work, not just work, hard work, and then the works of your hands will be blessed. We have been blessed to win international awards. We've been blessed to be consistently trusted by the president, who supports us, who empowers us in every way. We've been blessed to serve with everyone. The fourth estate, there is nothing you can benefit without the fourth estate, the media. The media fraternity is always with us to show the public what we are doing. And you are with me. and that's why I'm happy that you are one of the people that continue to empower. Thank you, Philip Madoy, because why I'm bringing in that is that the young people out there, everything you do it for the good of others, and let people know what is good that is happening. Because Ugandans, there is a habit of us talking about what is bad, yet what is good is more than these diversionary issues that come in. Now people are talking about the Ebola. His Excellency the President today at the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, he was sensitizing us that you people, Ugandans, why are you talking? Why are you allowing CNN to criticize us that Uganda and DRC, we can't be compared with DRC, really. Ebola is hitting hard in DRC. Uganda, we only have just two victims who are under treatment. So Ugandans and the fourth estate kindly talk about the good that the Lord has done for you as an individual, for your institution, and importantly for your country. We have a duty to make our country shine. That's what I was taught But going back to our subject, intentional fatherhood. Fathers, young sons of Uganda, young fathers, older fathers, be in the lives of your children. Presence of a father in a home creates more security, contentment that cannot be bought by money. So be available.
So now I would say, because actually your book is part of what's good with Uganda.
Yes.
That's highlighting what's good.
Yes.
I would also want to ask you the legacy,
Yes.
your father's legacy, and the legacy behind intentional fatherhood. What does it mean to you? What does legacy mean to you when a parent lives by example?
My father's legacy is key in this way: that productive love, that faithful service, and intentional availability, intentional physical availability gives children, gives people much more than what wealth and resources can ever give. The legacy is, what will you remember for? We who our father birthed, nurtured, carried until his death, even when we were mature women and men, our debt to pay, the legacy we want to carry on. Me personally, the legacy I want to preach and carry on, and what I have put in these many pages of my book, is that if my book can help anyone further to give a priceless gift of intentional presence in the lives of their children, to show their children hard work by example, to ensure that they are available at all times, to comfort, to bless, to honor them, to cheer them up even when they don't perform well at school. Cheer your children because they can be productive, because you have appreciated them even when they've not done well. The legacy of my father remains that the impact he had on us by his words of courage, words of wisdom, importantly, blessings every time, and his availability is what we want to carry on. I want to conclude this part of legacy by saying that the important legacy that each one of us should fight for is how we impact everyone that passes, that we cross paths with. Everyone you meet in your life, please impact them positively. How we make others feel is what we shall be remembered for. My father ensured that we felt good about him all the time. I will talk about one final thing about my father, and then I want us to conclude by talking about national fatherhood of President Museveni and Mama Janet. But one point I want to end with my father and how God lifts people is that my father, who was always very happy with his old bicycle that he would do, wash, and after washing, oil so that it glitters in its oldness. And as he carries us, you see it glittering. But then he goes with his magaro, tying here and there, knowing that it was old. Because he trusted that God has everything to give him in God's right time. Right. He had the best gift of patience. And as he always said, hard work rewards. Patience keeps love. Tolerance keeps life going. Yes. And one spirit, when you work with one spirit, you achieve a lot. Yes. My father achieved everything that he desired to have without struggling with anyone, and he was loved by everybody around him. He paid for so many children who now praise him for who they are. Others are, of course, many, like I said, we have a member of parliament who has testified in this book. We have reverends who became reverends much earlier than him, who himself encouraged to remain in church by riding them on his own bicycle when they were younger than him. He was older. The one thing I want to talk about is that God lifted our father from this very old bicycle. When I started work and earning some little money as a soldier, I lifted my father from a bicycle to a motorcycle. At the motorcycle, there he now was riding his grandchildren. He said that for us, he still was very strong. A man got sure that the vehicle, that the bicycle, he would use a lot of energy from the chest. Said, the bicycle man Gachwa was for you, my student. Now bring my grandchildren, and I ride them on this one, where I'm bouncing. I just use my big legs. He was a fat man somehow, built up. So he would say, I will just push the crutch and carry my grandchildren. So we didn't get the opportunity to take a photograph of our father carrying his grandchildren on the motorcycle. But when he celebrated Golden Jubilee in the year 2021, 1st of April, together with my husband, we gifted him a vehicle, a brand new Primo. Ooh. And the bishops of Oankore, you see, the man, you are still a reverend. And this is Mama Midres Ndunji. They were celebrating 50 years, and the bishops of Ankore, the seventh archbishop who wedded us, Dr. Henry Rukorombi, was the preacher. The archbishop, sitting archbishop of the Church of Uganda, was the head of the service. He presided over the service. And my father looked around him with bishops. You didn't get the photo when he was coming out of his new car. So that car, our father told everybody he was preaching to that the dust was not going to reach him again. But now he had entered his car. Now that the glasses are mirrors, no dust anymore. And he told people, can't you see where God can take you? I took these children to school on my old bicycle singing. Now you see, I am now in the new car that is more beautiful than any car I have ever seen in this world. His car, it is written on Yesu na Amara. Wow. Then later, to make him happy, because our father always made us happy, I did him a surprise together with my husband. We arranged for him a trip on the aeroplane. My father boarded Kenya Airways on 26th of November.
That was his first time on the
plane. His first time. Imagine, he's from the bicycle. He has now entered the plane. And this is what I want to end with. When he entered the Kenya Airways, yes, we had arranged the honeymoon in Mombasa to make him happy. The man took us to school on a bicycle himself, and he was always thankful. Even on the bicycle, the motorcycle took him somewhere, the car took him to another. So when he returned, he told me, my daughter, my friend, you have shown me the heaven of the world. Wow. That when I entered the plane, it went up, it went through the clouds, it settled on top of the clouds, where I was now not hearing noise. I have remained with one heaven, which was above, where God sits, the heaven where I will enter and will never return. He said, my daughter, I don't want another flight, because you have shown me the heaven of the earth. I have seen the heaven of the earth when I am alive. I have remained with one heaven where I will meet my God and will never return. This was 2022 when I was about to head for NDC, and the man was ordained a reverend 2023, and on the 8th of February 2025, I was sitting in his room praying. He called me and said, I'm feeling here. He was in Mombasa praising God in the sand of Mombasa, looking at heaven. My father was a thankful man at every stage. My gospel, which I'm preaching to all of you who will listen to me, wherever you are,
be thankful.
Be thankful. Yeah. Appreciate everything you have, and God will keep lifting you and give you everything you need for life. And my father never dreamt of being on an aeroplane. But when he was there, he became so thankful that he told me he was not going to take any other plane. In my heart, I was like, when I get more money. My father was very healthy. He was never sick. I said, I will take him. I'll give him many more flights. In his head, maybe God had told him, I have given you all you want. I'll take you home singing. No, the man went singing.
We're going to get to that very good story.
Yes.
It's good because the ending turned out to be the beginning.
Friends, I now talk about my father with a smile and strength. Yes. But I have mourned my father for the last 1.5 years. I had failed to talk about it because he was all that I am. And getting up in the morning without my father's prayer was hard for the 1.5 years. Because he passed on suddenly singing. The man went singing before the
bishop. Let's get to that later.
And we now talk about.
We can now talk about how intentional fatherhood led to a more like a better national leadership. How does it impact national leadership in the persons of President Museveni and the First Lady.
Friends that are listening and maybe seeing us, I have been very privileged, having brought up by a man whose fatherhood was very intentional presence, intentional, unmatched love, unshakable faith. By God's grace, I ended up with His Excellency the President, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, who did us the unmatched, gave us the unmatched gift of visiting our parents who were living in their very humble home in Kashari. On 30th July 2014, the president visited my parents and their life lifted a bit. You know, when the president is visiting, the Mbarara district local government dug the road from wherever it was up to my father's home. They brought piped water up to my father's home. But the State House controller then expanded the house because our house used to be small, where the president was to sit. And graciously, the president was accompanied. My second father, General Kaguta Museveni, when he was visiting my biological parents, he was accompanied by Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, my second mother, the first daughter, Natasha Karijere. Maybe you bring that back. Mama, President Museveni was accompanied. You see me here. I was welcoming the first daughter, Natasha Karijere. My father was joyfully jumping into the chest of His Excellency the President. COVID was unheard of, 2014. So he was lucky to hold fast the chest of the president.
Who is this
My
young
mother
man who is
behind
crying?
there was receiving Mama Janet. This was then my young family. Our last born Joel, who is now at the level of senior 4. That man is our firstborn Jonathan, looking at the president. He is in his third year at the university, doing computer engineering. And the girl is here, Miss. You show us another photo where we are now standing properly.
Yes.
The girl is also in her first year at the university doing business law. Wow. So it was a young family. The president did us great to come with part of his family, a big part of his family. Mama Janet Kataha Museveni. Here they are sitting in our sitting room that was already expanded. My father is here joyfully, shaking the hand of the president, but also looking at the camera that you people see how I have held the hand of the president. He didn't want to release the hand. My father didn't want to release the hand. He wanted everybody to see for themselves. And I was there also laughing. And this is called a chanzi. The Banyankole know it. It's treasured. And it's what my mother gifted the first lady. Can you put for us the other photo where we are now as a family? This is my husband, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Eddie Asozwa, our firstborn Jonathan, who is now third year university, secondborn Ruth, second year university, first year, she finished first year, and Joel, now at the level of senior 4. My mother, Midress, and Mama Janet Kataha. My second father, so my father must have been somewhere telling everybody that he had just shaken the hand. Then he missed out on the big one. But this is where he was standing with him. Joshua, there is where my father was standing with the president, holding his Bible, showing the whole world that I'm here finally. Don't you have that photo? If it comes, please put it, because I know that later when my father learned that we had paused alone, he asked for his. So me here, I was holding Mama Janet. Yes. My father was leading, going to show us the biogas. That's how I will forever treasure the president who came with his first daughter, with the second son, if I may. Audrey Ruwagogo was in that visit. Yes. My friend, but treasured lady, Charlotte Kainerugaba was in that visit. Dr. Joseph Okia was in that visit, who is his doctor, but also his niece. The commander who paved my way, yes, General was Kainerugaba, yes, who I write a whole chapter, because he has a special character also of patriotism, in a way that he remembers all those that contributed to the revolution. Yes. When you go to SFC, most of the barracks, they are named after the revolutionaries. We have Kambarage Julius Nyerere Barracks. We have Rutamaguzi Barracks.
In the sense that it can shape our politics with better leadership.
It is the only thing, yes, that will shape our nation in the best direction we want to be. Yes. Because we are already doing very well as a nation in terms of economics. Intentional fatherhood is what is much needed, because Uganda is unstoppable in terms of development. All resources are being developed at every level. The natural resources, I mean, the human resources are at the top. Ugandans have the best policies, I must say. Uganda is doing best in terms of attracting investments.
Yeah.
Uganda has already won several awards, including 3 consecutive years, where annual investment meeting that happens in Abu Dhabi,
Yes.
AIM, the annual investment meeting in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, awards Uganda, been awarding Uganda the first best investment destination on the region. That's Abu Dhabi. In Rhode Island, United States, awarded Uganda the best rewarding economy, the best rewarding economy. We are all aware that Uganda shilling has remained very strong and stable for over now coming to a decade, including COVID didn't shake us. So given the rate at which Uganda is developing in terms of economic development, investments, industrialization, you can't count the industries that have been constructed and are manned by great professionals of Uganda. You can't talk about, we can't finish how to explain the scientific innovations.
Yes.
With the Ministry of Science and Technology. You have our Chira. Uganda is the first on this continent of Africa to assemble and produce electric buses that have been driven up to South Africa and return. I know that there is an order of buses for over 3,000, an order of 3,000 buses to be bought from Chira, a factory in Uganda. So economically, young people, we are doing Chira Motors. Economically, we are stable. We are already in the lower middle income class. We are going to the high middle income class. And in not many years, you young people, the Gen Zs, the youth, you will see greater things than we have seen. Uganda will be in the first class countries not long.
That's if they have intentional fatherhood.
That's where I'm coming.
Yes.
Without being intentional in making your lives productive, first and foremost, your lives productive love, dedication to make everything around you better, we may not reach there. So I have been very privileged to work with the father of this nation. I call His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni my second father proudly, because he embraced me when I was not worth it, when I had no credentials to work for him, but he has shaped me, he has mentored me, he has empowered me with knowledge, he has sent me for strategic studies, and I have seen how he is promoting national intentional fatherhood. So President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and Mama Janet Kataha Museveni have promoted national, intentional fatherhood and motherhood. Looking at this photo in the background, all these are youth. I have been, again, lucky to be involved, to be given an opportunity to participate in mobilizing the youth, the young people. You remember the 14th of July, 2024, when the youth wanted to pour on the road that they were going to riot against corruption. So His Excellency, the President, in his address, and that time I was in Mbarara on another task. I remember I was at the Diocese of Ankole. We were having some function there, and I had the role to pray. Then I was told that the President has told the young people that if they want to riot, they should look for Nakalema. He will mobilize them, and they will do a better anti-corruption work. If they want to go on the streets, they would do an organized one. So when the youth heard that, they started looking for me from all corners. I imagine that even my other sons, these Jingu, Masembe, and Yasin, also could have heard that, because they also graciously looked for me recently, and the one sending some of my messages on TikTok. I had not joined TikTok. Actually, don't, up to now, I don't understand how TikTok works.
But you're
I
a
will
good
confess.
singer, so you
I
can
will
go on
continue singing if they keep
TikTok,
taking.
you can sing.
Very good. I
It's
can
called
sing,
sing.
but the problem, I don't know how to do it myself. Put myself on TikTok.
Okay.
But these young people have put me. So
Yeah.
I mobilized all leaders of high education, of high institutions of learning, universities, institutions. There were over 200. I took them at State House, and this was October 2024. These young people, they don't remember like I do, yet their heads don't carry much. You should have put here date. It was either October or May. And he was very happy. This is the youth minister, Bulgaria. So it's recent. Our president, all his attention is on young people. You will all agree with me that His Excellency President Museveni and Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, my second parents, now refer to the youth lovingly as Bazukuru. The Bazukuru are now enjoying State House much more than those of us even who worked there or who have been much longer with the president, because he is showing intentional fatherhood. Come and be around me. Come and have the jazz. Samson, what was the jazz called? This jazz with the Jaja.
Yeah,
Do you know that availability? Do you know how those young people went out empowered? The message is, all young people, be near, or be close to your parents. And you young fathers, let your children, let the children even in your community. My father was a father near of the whole village, wherever he lived, because for him, in the morning, all kids would be coming, the ones who have a wound, he would put for them healing oil and bless them, and they would go clapping that they are healed already. He was a father of communities, a father of everybody. I have seen it with General Kaguta Museveni, because he always avails himself, embraces everyone in State House. That is the power that come and be in your State House. Here, this photo was it was on 10th of January, this last campaign, 10th of January 2025, when it was just remaining 5 days to elections, and I again was lucky to take the WUNSA, the Uganda National Students Association leadership. They were swearing, they're being sworn in at State House. That is empowerment. The motherhood. Now it was about Mama Janet. It was Mama Janet who said, let these young Bazkuru come and be sworn in State House. Do you know how these young people went feeling to be sworn in State House? They were at State Lodge in Nakasero, in that compound where they were served lunch with their parents and their children. Put the other one where. So I want us to see this photo, where this is the current president of Uganda National Students Association. Her name is Shira Ainembabas. She came with her son, who is about, and her daughter. This. So Mama Janet is here with the Bazukuru and now the great grandchildren in State House. But also, the president of UNSA, Shira Ainembabas, came with her mother, her father, and her grandmother. How many generations are here in State House? That is the real intentional motherhood we mean. That you are a mother of a nation. You bring you bring your age mate, the grandmother, who comes with her daughter, the mother of the youth you are swearing in as a president. Mama Janet was swearing in this as in her capacity as Minister of Education and Sports at State House. I was a witness because I was the one mobilizing. They came with their younger pastor, Wilson Bugembe, empowering the youth. The message here is the motherhood we mean doesn't stop on her biological children, because in State Lodge, maybe in many decades ago, in the State Lodge, you would expect the first family and their visitors. But this is an official function of the youth who may never have entered a State Lodge, which is a home of the president. The other many were at State House and Entebbe, the official one. These being few and were sworn in at a very busy time of campaign, they were sworn in inside the home, the official home of the president. What other empowerment do you need? If you are allowed, you as the president of Uganda National Students Association, you are allowed to come with your children, with your mother and your father, and your grandmother. If the grandfather was there, he would have come. The grandfather had passed. Then you also bring your choice youth. Then you come with your friends and colleagues in State House. So I have been privileged, and I share with all of you out there, young and old, that we have an intentional president who is intentional on furthering this generation and the generations to come, who allows the Bazukuru from universities, but also allows the Bazukuru of the jazz who come from the ghettos, some of them. We say it here because we have seen it. Didn't you see that some were from ghetto, some were from garages, some were from carpentry, others were from my villages there, Rendang and Kanyeganyeje. What a privilege. I count myself lucky, and I have written this book as I conclude. My father and I, a father who was very intentional in being present, in ensuring productive love, in ensuring hard work and dedication based on faith and integrity, particularly. This book is about intentional fatherhood of a man whose base was faith, and he is here. I was in church with him at the very church where he taught us how to write in sand before he took us to school. We didn't have nursery schools, they were called church schools, and he had been fully ordained a reverend, and this was not long when he passed, because this was on 20th of October 2024. We were in Rwentanga Parish Church of Uganda, and I was there telling, and there was a big congregation, but we were in front, and I was saying, congratulations, Tata Omubuzi, now Reverend, before the people who you served for over 3 decades as a lay reader. Now they are cheering their Reverend, and we were there laughing. I didn't know it was going to be their last service with him in that church, because we never went back. The next time he was dressed like this, when I saw him in that village, was when he was closed in peace. His eyes had closed in peace. So this man's morals of productive love, hard work based on integrity,
spiritual guidance,
the unshakable faith, the spiritual cover. My children, be blessed and know that the God you serve is faithful and able to do for you exceedingly abundantly great. And that all you do will be blessed. The Lord will bless the works of your hands. His nurturing delivered me in the hands of His Excellency the President, whose morals, whose values, whose basis of recruitment to today, he's always looking for Christians. If you have seen the president, he sends bishops, our recruitment. We were recruited by chaplains, and I want to credit those who recruited me. I was at Uganda College of Commerce, Kabale, doing my diploma in business studies, and I was recruited by now Bishop Onesimus Asimwe, who was a teacher, but also like a patron at Chigezi High School in Kabale, and our chaplain, rest in peace, Reverend Moses Tindiewa. Our intake, we were over 300. We were recruited by the pastors, these of Robert Kayanja, the Dr. Joseph Seradas, the Pentecostals, the Muslims, and we were a well-balanced group from every region of Uganda. That is intake 06 of 1998. We were recruited when many of you were not born, of course. 1998, December 14th is when we gathered at our basic military training school, Kaweweta. And from that time, the president...
Nakasongo.
Yes, it's in Nakasongo district. Later we went to Kabamba. And from that time, the president followed us, and I was blessed that the only unit I have worked in or the formation is the president's units. PPU is where I was deployed after being commissioned the second lieutenant, October 2000. So for 26 years, I have been serving directly under the president's security, the president's, around the president in security, 2013, he now brought me much closer to him. I am forever grateful. I can never betray trust. I have seen one father who can influence many people because of his presence, because of his blessings, because of his example of hard work, taking his children to school by using his hands, metal fabrications of not going to school, but through that, God blessed him to produce biologically his own engineer who has built, who has led the building quickly, Joshua, get the photo of the church, who was in his legacy, my father, because you want to end with his sudden and peaceful departure. He called me and said, my daughter, my friend, you will build a bigger church. My father built 17 churches in different areas of Ankole. And now we have, together with friends and family,
17 churches.
17. Wow. He mobilized and built 17 churches, different communities of Ankole, and they are known. But now where he was picked to be ordained a reverend, we had built a smaller one called Orse, and he called the bishop and they baptized that small church, All Saints Kanyeganyeje. This is my father, and this is that's the blessing of the Baburzi, the lay reader, with his. He was a very loving man. Looking at his wife, we used to call his wife my beloved. That's the English instead of beloved. Your accent. His was local. My beloved Midres. So they were at their small church. His instruction when he was jolly after preaching, the last instruction to me was, my daughter, my friend, you will build a church, you will mobilize your friends, you will build a big church where my small church is. And as I talk, he passed on 8th, singing and praising God, not sick. He quickly passed when I was in Karachi, Soroti at the barrio. Father from the nearest health center, they had taken him. He walked to the ambulance himself. The doctor sustained with the pain that had come. They suspected he had a heart attack. Reached at the diocese where we had been brought up, where he worked as the head of biogas. Yes. And the bishop prayed and he told them, sing my song, song number 208 in Runyankore hymn book. And it says, I go to rest in the Lord. And he sang his third stanza. And the bishop had called me and told me he has now stabilized. They have suspected a heart attack. Get a cardiologist. I picked my phone. I called our chief of health services. He had given me a number of the cardiologist. The man was there singing, Mpumuziwa, Echigamboche, Echomuri Beiburi. The man passed on singing. The doctors were now pulling whatever they were starting. My sister had arrived and said, what is happening? Said, the man has gone. The bishop called me in shock, said, Kano, Reverend has gone. I said, gone where? He's gone to be with the Lord. He's in silent, he's smiling, he was singing. I had heard him sing in the background. That was the end of my cherished father, but his impact will live on. And my appeal to all of you who will listen, please show your love. You can only be remembered by the positive impact you created. So now show the church that we are building. This is the church where we have reached in 1 year, and this is his picture, because he gave us a photo of this church and he was not sick. This is the photo he gave us. Oh. So we have built this church in less than 1 year with friends. I have, because of his principles, he told me, never ever beg, never ever force anyone to give money. Don't look for people who work in government to steal and give you the money. I have ensured that on this church of my father's legacy, only friends that knew him, only friends that treasure me for my principles are the ones that are contributing to this church. I've not got money from government. I've not got money from politicians. My second father has not yet even known what we are doing. I intended, because my father instructed me clearly, said, my daughter, my friend, mobilize your friends, build a bigger church where I have left, where I have a small one. I didn't know he was going the next morning. So this is the church that has been built by those my father touched, those that move with me in faith. Not that money on this church. Anyone who wanted to give me money who I don't trust, I didn't allow. Our chairperson is here, who chairs the meetings of the Reverend Seranda Foundation Faustin Nakazwe Karieja, she's married to Professor Gerard Karieja, my great friends for a long time. And they know that some of my friends proposed some visitors, and I said, I don't understand how they earn their money. Integrity.
Okay.
Praise the Lord.
Now, as we conclude,
Yes.
this book is going to help build the church.
Yes. Now this book, you see, the church is already built.
Yes.
It even has windows. This book, the proceeds of this book is to complete the remaining part,
Yes.
to put in the glasses, to work on the painting. The final phase will be done through the proceeds of this book, which will only be launched by His Excellency the President. This book is not yet launched, but we have decided to put it out online to just teach people on how to love, on how to impact their children and those around them by show of example of hard work based on integrity, and to tell everyone that intentional fatherhood has much more impact than provision. Sending money does not impact like when you come yourself to sit with your children and assure them of your love and presence, and assure them that whatever they need, God will provide, and that you yourself as a father, you will work with them. When anyone will ask why I don't talk about mothers, yet I have a mother who is still living and she's loving, it is because mothers are always available for children. They are compassionate, they carry them, they breastfeed them. I am a mother of 6 in total. 3 are biological, 3 we adopted together with my husband. But I talk about intentional fatherhood because most fathers go out there to look for money and don't give enough time to their children to follow them even when they are old enough. I have told you that even now, when I have been long married with my own mature children, my father was still accompanying me up to the last day when he went to be with the Lord. My dear brothers out there, uncles and fathers, please be in the lives of your children, be intentional. Ensure that you are available as an example in everything you do. Children who are well fathered cannot be corrupt. There is a sense of contentment, there is a sense of security that a father's presence gives a child, that they cannot be corrupt. I am very convinced that me and my siblings, why we are always contented, why we are always against evil and fighting it, is because the living example of our father, who lived a very low life, but later God raised him. The man hosted the president. The man worked with archbishops. His memorial service was attended by a very big person in this country, apart from the president who was out of the country. And that's why we didn't launch the book, because Mama Janet asked that until she's available with the president, this is their book, because she endorsed it, she wrote about it. Yeah. The president wrote about my father for 5 pages here. I cannot launch this book without them. But my message is, let fathers be in the lives of their children with productive love, with unmatched faith, and determined to be kind to all those that will cross their path, all those that you will meet wherever you are. May God bless you.
And finally, we're done. We're almost, but this one is personal.
Yes.
How did you feel? It's a kind of resurrection when you're writing about somebody you love who was passed on. How did you feel writing about your father? Weren't you crying every day when you were writing?
First of all, this picture alone kind of raised my emotions for so long. This picture, we took it on the 24th, on the 27th of December, 2024, at our home. This was his house. So, because me and my father were always joking and laughing, so I had my whole family. I had my children and my husband. We passed by to give them what they were to enjoy for the remaining days of Christmas and for the New Year. And when I was leaving, I just joked with my father. I said, do you still have the strength to carry me now that you are no longer on the bicycle, you sit. He said, my daughter, my friend, come and I show you how strong I am. Be in my back here. So I came and I held him. And my children were in front of me. If you see, I was looking at in front. My children were there saying, Mommy, don't break Granny's back. And my father started singing. Now he was singing. I am so glad my Jesus saved me. So he was here singing. So when I was writing this book, I was crying all the time because I was the voice of my father singing. He's so glad Jesus saved him. He's so glad that Jesus gave him to me. Even started calling, I am so glad. I have my daughter with me. We danced together. We were there dancing. Now it's because it's not a video. So as I was writing about him, knowing that I would never see him again, it was tormenting. But by the time I finished these 300 pages, but most of these pages are pictorial, I intended, and a number of friends have written in this book. You'll find here a story of Aaron Kajen and how he knew my father. You find here a story of Irene Kauma, of Dr. James Magara, of archbishops, the Archbishop Kazimba, Archbishop Orombi, the Bishop of Michael Boa, who ordained him, Bishop Sheldon Mwesga, who took him on his right. Many people, all my siblings wrote here. But by the time I finished writing about my father, it gave me a lot of satisfaction that the man did his work, and that importantly, his work will preach to generations to come. So I am now come. The book helped me to pour out my pain, but also to teach others. And because the book will continue teaching others, I am now healed a bit. I am healed. Most moments come and I miss him. When I'm moving, sometimes his songs come and I stop a bit. But the book helped me to put a story down that will help others, to live a life that will impact others. My final word is, let us all determine to be remembered for creating a positive impact to all those we live with, to all those we will touch, to all those that are in our lives. May God help you to be a person of impact wherever you will be. Special tribute to President Museveni and Mama Janet. They are the last one. But my father wrote 3 scriptures and he bequeathed to me his churchman's book, which is like a diary.
Yes.
And I didn't know again that the man was finishing. Do you have that photo near Joshua, where we are raising our arms with my father? So this is what he did to me. So again, I'm at home. He had written his 3 scriptures. One was, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and the rest shall follow.
Yeah.
Number 2 was, you are the light of the world. They are all here. And the 3rd was, I give you this one commandment, love one another. Not that, Joshua. Not that. I want this. You don't have it. You should have kept it. So anyway, this is his handwriting.
Yes.
So he wrote this, and that is him writing. He wrote in Runyankore. The big letters in Nyankore are his writing. But the first was, but ye seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. His should have been capital there. And all these things will be added unto you. The second was this one. And the second was this. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden.
Right.
And this one, he put it under my photo in his sitting room. And this one, the last one, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. This one, John 13, 34 to 35, he put it on the door. He did this in the last week of his life. So us who had not seen, we saw it, we entered the house, saw his writing, it was breaking. Because now it was on top of his casket, the man who never fell sick. In his whole lifetime, he never fell sick. And he told God that when I have finished my service, take me home. He went singing. So me, gave me this, and this was his. It is called Churchman's book. It's a diary. When I opened it, his first page he was thanking Canon Nakalema. I closed it. I've not read it because it will again throw me far. But it is here in the book. So God bless you.
God bless you. And
After healing, I am now moving forward to fight the evil and continue be being productive as long as God gives me life.